Good evening, everybody. This is called Two-Way Tonight because it's on two-way and it's on at night, and we thought the name was apt. Thank you for joining. My name is Mark Halperin. Maybe my name should be in the show name. Maybe it should be called Two-Way Tonight avec Mark Halperin. Well, we'll see about that. It's a kind of a wordy logo. Grateful to you for being part of the Two-Way experience. If you're here on the Two-Way platform and you'd like to get in on the conversation with our two great guests tonight, Michael LaRosa and Mark Bednar. Both have been here before and both are spectac, as the French would say. If you want to get in on the conversation, talk about whatever you want, please raise your hand if you're in the two-way platform. Say you're watching on YouTube and say I'm going to say Mark Halperin looks sick or ugly or his Monty Burns imitation isn't any good. That'd be on the borderline of smack. Do not put that in the chat. If you want to put in the chat, well, that was really interesting, or thank you for two-way. That would not be considered smack. That'd be considered something imbued with peace, love, and understanding. So feel free to do that. Extend the presumption of grace to all, including everyone we talk about on tonight's episode. On tonight's episode, which is all new, by the way, this is not a repeat. It's not a clip show. There's no repeated segments. We don't have a Bill Whitaker profile of, Dolly Parton. This is all new. Everything you see tonight, never aired before. Lots, just to give you an idea of the topics for the evening, which is kind of like an overview. Probably should have had AI generate this now that I think about it. More fallout from the Middle East. Although, to be honest, I'm not one of these people who pretends there's news when there's not. Not much news. I did do an exclusive interview with my dad on Next Up, where he expressed some doubt about the peacekeeping force, which is essential to this working. So we'll talk about the latest developments there. Erica Kirk was at the White House today. It ended just a little while ago on what would have been her husband's 32nd birthday, and he received the Medal of Freedom posthumously, and both the president spoke and she spoke. The president spoke at quite a length on a number of topics today at the White House. There's some news about I shouldn't say news because there's really not. I'm not going to mislead you. There's developments. There's rhetorical developments on the shutdown. We'll talk about that. Mr. Jeffrey spoke. Mr. Johnson spoke. Mr. Trump spoke. There's some Scott Besson sound about Zoran Mondami that will play. Some ICE developments, some media bashing, a new Barack Obama commercial in support of Proposition 50, and Meghan McCain's interview with Cheryl Hines. You'll see a little bit of preview of that. All that and more. I'm not sure what the more will be, but there will be more here on tonight's episode of Two-Way Tonight. Our guests will be here in a moment. I'm going to let them do most of the talking. But for now, a quick word from one of our sponsors. It's one you know, our friends at Cozy Earth are sponsoring tonight's program. Cozy Earth bamboo sheets, viscose made from bamboo, keep you warm when you like to be warm and somehow magically keep you cool when you want to be cool. I used them all summer, using them now in the fall. I look forward to sleeping on them in the winter. And of course, also available to you with our discount is the Bubble Cuddle Blanket. Lose yourself in luxury. That's how my friends at Cozy Earth describe using the blanket, a combination of comfort and style with its distinctively textured bubble design, intricately woven from ultra soft fibers. All I know is it feels good. I don't know anything about the distinctively textured bubble design. I just know it feels good. I recommend that too. And as you know, I recommend the pants. Everything there is on sale now. If you use the promo code Two-Way, you get 20% off the best pants, joggers, shorts, shirts, everything. 20% off. Go to CozyEarth.com. Use the promo code Two-Way. Because home isn't just where you live, it's how you feel. Let's go home with Cozy Earth. I didn't invent that slogan, but I wish I had because I like it quite a bit. All right. Thank you for your attention to that matter. Here's Mark Bednar of Wisconsin. As some of you know, I spent the weekend in Wisconsin at the Brewers game and then at the Packers game, two for two for the Badger teams. Mark Bednar, last night, though, somehow the Brewers lost. And tonight is game two. It must win, right?
Well, Mark, were you at the game last night?
No, because if I had, they would have won. I am considered along with Tommy Thompson the good luck charm of the entire state.
And we have Freddie Peralta pitching this evening, so he's our ace. He's the guy who got it. He is the one who took us to the dance. So now it's time to shine.
But it is a must win, right? I asked this morning. Nobody told me the answer. Going down 2-0 at home is you're not going to.
You can't do it. What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
That's like being in a minority and shutting down the government. Like, how do you get out from under that?
Good metaphor. So we'll see what happens. Mark, thank you for being here. And here, you were on Fox News Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Yes.
Is there hot food in the green room? I've never been on that show. Is there hot
Uh,
food in the?
there's a lot of caffeine options and
Yeah,
some
but
really
no,
good bottles of water,
no
but
hot food. Back in the day when David Brinkley and then Sam and Koki hosted This Week, there was a dude in the green room making stuff for you, omelets, and I think omelets is what he made. Hot food made to order right in the green room. Those days are long gone, right?
yeah, you don't want people to spill on anything.
No,
Like,
that's true. Hadn't thought of that. Michael LaRosa, are you either a sports fan or someone who's been on the Fox News Sunday roundtable?
I was a college athlete and an
Yeah,
athlete for 17 years, but I
yeah,
wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a sport. I mean, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Philadelphia
yeah.
Phillies fan. So,
Well, okay.
um,
Mark, do you know what sport Michael played? Do you know? Because we're both going to guess.
I
I'm
don't.
going. I'm going with tennis.
Swimming.
it's right. I was a college swimmer.
Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah,
you?
total
How'd you,
guess.
how'd you know, Mark? You just guessed.
I
Amazing.
guess.
Okay.
No, you can see it in the background.
Oh, is there swimming stuff back there? Okay. What were your best
There is some
events,
stuff.
Michael? What were your best events?
I was a sprinter, so I broke the Seton Hall record in the 100 freestyle, and then finaled at the Big East in the 50 freestyle and 100 butterfly, and then went to 2 U.S. Opens in the 100 freestyle.
Dude, that's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, a long time ago.
Do you still swim?
No.
No. Does Rom still swim? Does Rom still swim for exercise?
That's a great question. I heard he used to swim up at Rumsey.
Yeah.
At the place up on the hill, but
Yeah. So
I don't know where he's based these days. To be honest with you, I can't tell.
so Joe Biden worked out every day. He went to the gym every day. I think he,
on
yeah,
the third
didn't he?
floor, they had
He lifted weights. What else did he do there? What else did he do besides lift?
Well,
Cardio? Did he do any cardio?
he rode the bike. He rode the bike.
That's right. He rode the bike. So Donald Trump obviously doesn't work out every day. That's a stupid thing to even raise. And then before that, Barack Obama, did he work out every day? I think he did. Michelle did. Well, I don't know what he did either. Bill Clinton liked to jog. And I don't know. I'm interested. Like, there's always a lot of discussion about presidential golfing, but not about like actual exercise. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Enough about this. I'm a little distracted, I'll admit. Let's talk about, I'm just going to skip around because there's some interesting sound. Where's that Trump sound but I wanted to hear? Okay. This question about what's going to happen now in the Middle East. Number one, Sam, meaning element number one, is there's a lot of dispute over the return of the bodies of the hostages who were killed or died in captivity. Here's the New York Wall Street Journal headline: "Torment goes on for families of hostages fighting to get bodies back." And number two, this is New York Times headline: "Israel pressures Hamas on bodies, but Gaza's destruction poses challenges." So that's a point of tension, and there's been some skirmishing, but no major breach in the agreement yet. But this question of how the Hamas is going to be disarmed has been left up in the air. And here is President Trump saying what he thinks needs to happen to disarm Hamas. Number three, please.
They're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do. Above all else, get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back. Also, they said they were going to disarm. And initially speaking, they needed, they did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad, very, very bad gangs, and they did take them out. And they killed a number of gang members. And
I don't know who he means by they here, by the way.
That's okay. We had a couple of very bad gangs. It's no different than other countries. Like Venezuela sent their gangs into us, and we took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C. is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country if you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work. Isn't it nice? But we have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently.
Right.
But they
We
will
disarm
disarm.
them.
Do you understand
We
me?
will disarm
You
them.
say
Because you
quickly.
always, everyone says,
We-
oh, well, they
we-
won't disarm. They will disarm.
They will
And I
disarm.
spoke
We will
to
disarm them. One's
Hamas.
passive voice, one's active voice.
And I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I bet they
That's
called
what
it
they told
sir.
me. They will
Yeah.
disarm, or we will
will
disarm
disarm.
them. Got it?
Or we will disarm them. Okay, so you guys know I'm a huge critic of people in my business who don't do their jobs well. I've heard so many people on the Sunday show say 200 American forces are going to be there, and they ask various questions about that. And they say they're not going to be in Gaza, and JD Vance will say things like, "We have no plans to put them in Gaza." I haven't heard a single official ask. Maybe they haven't. I haven't heard it. Do you rule out ever putting them on the ground in Gaza? Because I don't know who the president says when he means we. So this issue of a peacekeeping force, there have been various reports about various countries putting in a peacekeeping force. A peacekeeping force could, in theory, be the we the president refers to regarding disarmament. Today on my show on the Megyn Kelly Network, Next Up, I interviewed a former national security official served in the Johnson Pentagon, the Nixon White House, the Obama State Department, and National Security Council, and at the Pentagon, I think, maybe the State Department. He's a peacekeeping expert. He's in charge. He was in charge of peacekeeping in the Clinton administration. So he knows a lot about the complexities of peacekeeping. My dad is who I'm talking about, and here he is on Next Up talking to me about his skepticism that they're going to be assemble an international peacekeeping force, despite the fact that that seems as a central part of this plan. Here's my colloquy with my dad, number 22, please. One thing which may be different, it's in the 20-point plan, is a peacekeeping force made up of Arab and I think European or Asian forces that will be on the ground. We haven't seen that before, right? So if that happens,
we haven't
that
seen
could
it.
be different.
If it happens, I'm
Yeah.
very skeptical. It's very hard to put together a peacekeeping force, especially doing it outside the UN, this seems to be, because you have to deal with all the issues of who's in charge, who gives orders, whether people can turn down orders. I ran peacekeeping in the Pentagon at the beginning of the Clinton administration, so I've dealt with many of these issues, and a lot of them have to do with whether troops can opt out of an order that they get from a general or a senior officer of another country. Those are very hard, they're very complicated issues, and they mean that countries are going to be very reluctant to put in until all of those and many other issues are settled. It's, I think, a good step forward that the agreement has this in it. It isn't clear to me who's agreed to what's in this agreement, whether
Right.
it's just an American initiative.
All right, guy seems to have a lot of credibility just from the outside observer. Mark Bednar, when the president says we will disarm them if they don't disarm, who's he talking about?
I mean, it's pretty interesting. If you're Hamas or if you're like the Palestinian leadership or new civilian to be leadership, do you want Israel to be that peacekeeping force? Do you want the United States to be that peacekeeping force? Or do you want a conglomeration of other nations to be doing so? Like, I think that the set of options for that side of the equation, it's not good for them. So, and the president knows this. Like, I don't think that there's any circumstance in which like there's U.S. troops that are going to unilaterally go in and disarm.
Right. So who does he mean? When he says we'll disarm them, who does he mean?
I mean, that could mean, I think that reasonably could mean this is a very fragile agreement and Hamas
Yeah.
do not mess this up, because if you do, Israel is going to go right back to this. So when I hear we,
Yeah.
I think that,
So you think he means Israel?
yeah,
Well, that would be a reignition of hostilities.
it would be, but
yeah.
that's the point of the signal.
Yeah.
It's to say Hamas don't screw this up.
Okay, Michael, do you anticipate Hamas will voluntarily disarm? And if not, who do you think the president means when he says we?
No, I don't think they're going to voluntarily disarm. I think he's talking about us and Israel. But I think that part of the plan, from what I've read, has to do, like, at least the point on governance and long-term regional peace or regional peacekeepers would have to mean involving like Egypt, Qatar, and some of the other Arab nations as a way to keep a stable peacekeeping force there. I assume that's all part of this coalition that he's also referring to as well, that he hasn't elaborated on as much.
I don't like to be hyperbolic, but I feel I have some fingertip feel for public opinion in America. I don't think there's a chance in Hades that American forces will go forcibly. There'd be any appetite for American forces to try to forcibly disarm Hamas. Do either of you think there's the slightest possibility that that would be a mission they'd be sent on?
Absolutely not. That's why I suggested this. This is a warning to Hamas that Israel will go back and with the backing of the U.S. to be able to go do this. With all the consternation and this, but then the ultimate success of the Iran strike, that was an air raid, and that fortunately for everyone involved, it resolved the way it did. But I don't see how a U.S. ground forces operation in Gaza is remotely on the table. I don't see.
Okay, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it is either. I agree with what you're saying about public sentiment, Mark. But when it comes to Trump, and when he feels like he's taken for a ride, if he wants to take action as a result, he is able to corral support regardless of what he has said in the past. That really doesn't seem to matter. And the public support and public sentiment that he always is able to sort of to have when he does things, whether it's like in Congress or not, that's pretty loyal support there. And I don't think that's going to go away regardless of how what we react to if they don't disarm.
Very well said. When he said we, it's still unconcerning to me. All right, we could talk about this all night, but we got other stuff to get to. And again, we want to get to your questions, so please raise your hand if you want to get in the conversation. The conventional wisdom on the shutdown has gone from there's some things coming up, the premium increases, military pay, etc., air traffic control, that would be a forcing mechanism to a deal till this thing could go on for a very long time. Here's the president today talking about Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. I don't know if he calls him that. Talking about Chuck Schumer and being pressured by the left. Number 10, please.
We have a man who is a very wealthy person. You'll know that when I tell you this. Who called a donor, a great gentleman, and he said, if there's any money necessary, shortfall, for the paying of the troops, then I will pay it, meaning he will pay it. How about that? I said, look, we're not going to need it. We're going to take care of our troops. But this was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats. And all they have to do is just sign a piece of paper saying we're going to keep it going the way it is. There's nothing. It's not like it shouldn't even be an argument. They've signed it many times before. I don't want to bore you with the fact that Schumer said 100 times you should never close up government. But Schumer's a weakened politician. I mean, he's going to finish his career as a failed politician. He's a failed politician. He's allowed the radical left to take over the Democrat Party. So if they write books about that, if they write books about him, they're going to have to say that his career ended by allowing the radical left to take over the party. I mean, I won an election in a landslide because people are not into the radical left, and the Democrat Party is.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like he and Chuck Schumer are on very good terms. It was said up until this recently that Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, Republican, Democrat Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, had a pretty good relationship, that they kind of got along. Here's the two of them talking today. You see if you think they're getting along, or maybe this is just play acting. Play 12 and 13 back to back, please.
Look, my understanding of this is they have every right to move the funds around, duly appropriated dollars from Congress to the Department of Defense. There were some R&D accounts that had not been spent, and that's my understanding is that's the money that's being used to pay the troops right now. If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it, okay? I'm grateful for a commander-in-chief who understands the priorities of the country, the necessity of national defense, and the urgency that we all feel and have voted for 8 times. Republicans have voted in Congress 8 times now between House and Senate to fund the troops and pay federal workers in all these essential jobs and agencies, because we understand the necessity of that. Meanwhile, the Democrats voted 8 times to block their paychecks. I'm grateful we have a president who is willing to step up and do the right thing. Thank you all so much.
engagement to try to find
You're
common
right down the
ground.
hall from Mike Johnson's office. I know exactly where you are. You could probably take a few steps and go knock on the door and talk to him. Have you tried that?
Speaker Johnson hasn't been given permission to have a conversation with me or Leader Schumer, and he said as much earlier today.
So you don't think he would talk to you at all?
We can have a conversation, but the problem is that until they get the green light to actually have a meaningful discussion to try to find common ground and a bipartisan path forward and a willingness to address the damage that Republicans have done to the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people, then of course any informal discussion is going to be not fruitful.
I'm slightly inclined towards Mr. Jeffries lately because he's the only person on TV who looks tireder than me. Michael LaRosa, when and how will the shutdown end?
Well, I think we saw this morning that the DPC and OLA, the Office of Legislative Affairs, were starting to meet with House GOP leadership staffers to figure out a pathway to extend the enhanced ACA subsidies. However, it means it's not going to be, Democrats aren't going to get off scot-free. They're not going to hand Democrats a win. And the Democrats are going to have to eat a lot. And I think it's going to involve certain income requirements, eligibility requirements to keep these enhanced subsidies, enhanced COVID subsidies of the ACA extension, of these ACA things extended. But I think they do want to, I think Republicans know they have to get to a point where they can see a pathway to extending them. But Democrats are going to have to eat a lot, and including, out of pocket, I think premium costs, some out of pocket costs, and not grandfathering in any of the new enrollees. Well, now a lot of that's just policy wonky healthcare talk. But what it means is it sounds like Democrats will have to agree to sort of take the Republicans at their word, which they really don't have much reason to do that because of how they've used impoundment and taking up already appropriated funds to break deals. So, but that's how I think it ends. I think we're going to miss the November 1st deadline for open enrollment, but I do think that in the end, the enhanced subsidy gets saved. Nobody gets exactly what they want.
Mark, do you agree with that analysis?
I think, well, right now it's pretty interesting because we're actually in a really interesting moment in time that I think really follows kind of the arc of One Big Beautiful Bill. So the House passes a bill, and then for basically the next month, President Trump is engaged in a lot of really high profile, tight wire foreign policy stuff. So he had G7, he had NATO, he had the previously mentioned Iran strikes. And then once all that was taken care of, he came back around and was able to deal with the domestic policy at home and be able to wield the hammer, the megaphone in ways that only he can. And we were able to get One Big Beautiful Bill done. Similarly, now he's had all this international stuff, incredible accomplishments, but his megaphone has been mostly directed in that fashion. So the fact that he's back at the table, back in Washington, I think that he has the opportunity to bring the pressure to Senate Democrats in a way that has not been previously applied since either the House vote, which they did their job, and Thune is doing his job by routinely bringing up votes, but the president has not really had the need to be inserted into the mix until right now. So I think that him being back is really big for Republicans and to find a resolution to this.
And they're doing a lot to take away a lot of pain points for Democrats, by moving money around at OMB for the troops, making certain the air traffic controllers essential. They're taking away a lot of pressure points that Democrats needed in order to negotiate. And it's kind of funny to watch, but.
And what's interesting too, and you're only starting to now see this from Republican Twitter feeds, Republican members of Congress, especially the Ag Committee. They're actually getting testimonials from individual farmers who feel that they've been hurt by the shutdown. That's the kind of content, if you want to win a shutdown, what you need is who are constituents who are being personally hurt by the issue. And that needs to That needs to come out more from
Yeah.
Republicans.
I was surprised at how slow they were to start doing that. I thought we would have seen that every day, starting the first day. That's like
Well, I will
so
say,
basic.
I do think there'll come a point where the air traffic controllers, airline, the unions of the ATC will start strategically picking out very, very busy airports on days that they decide to call in sick and make life very difficult. For,
all right, we could talk about the shutdown again for the whole show, but I want to speed through some topics and then get to community questions. 2 new interviews. First of all, Jack Smith's done an interview. Does anybody know who that's with? Somebody back me up here. I don't know. Apparently he's done an interview, broken his silence on, I don't know if it's the New York Times or MSNBC. I don't know. Anyway, Jack Smith's done an interview. It's going to, Matthew Bartlett says it's going to be on the weekday show at 7 p.m. But I don't know if they did the interview. It says analysis on the tweet that Matthew Bartlett sent me. So I don't know. But anyway, so we'll look forward to that. Katie Porter, front runner to be the next governor of California, former congressman, sat down with Inside California Politics host Nikki Lorenzo for her first interview since that interview where she threatened to storm off. Here's a bit of that.
So this is your first time speaking publicly since the now 2 viral videos. What do you want people to know about you? And do you have the temperament to be the next governor of California?
When I look at those videos, I want people to know that I understand that I could have handled things better. I think I'm known as someone who's able to handle tough questions, who's willing to answer questions. And I want people to know that I really value the incredible work that my staff can do. I think people who know me know I can be tough, but I need to do a better job expressing appreciation for the amazing work that my team does.
All right, guys, just again, be brief. Is she going to be the next governor of California? Mark?
No, because these will keep coming out. So as a former congressional staffer, you kind of notice things about high turnover rates in offices. And sometimes that just means, like Ted Cruz, for instance, he has a boss. Like he has former staffers that go into the administration or go to various committees because for all intents and purposes, he seems like a pretty good boss. But when you have high turnover rate coupled with really negative stories, think Amy Klobuchar, think Nancy Mace, these are issues that where there's smoke, there's fire. And if these videos are coming out now and they've been delayed for a long time, that means there's probably a whole lot more.
Mr.
Yeah, she's
Democrat?
not going to be the Democratic nominee. She's not going to be governor. I'll keep it at that. I don't have much confidence that this campaign lasts through the end of the year.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I predicted she was dead, but all the groups rallied around her, and as Dan Turrentine pointed out, that might save her. Don't worry, because Matthew Bartlett's on the case to try to find us this Jack Smith interview. Let's see if he can find it. All right, guys, a few more things, and then we're going to get to community questions. Here's Barack Obama. We don't see him do too many ads these days. Here he is in a political ad for supporting yes on Prop 50 in California. Roll 18, please.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
Okay, so of course he doesn't name check President Trump, and I'm sure that was a conversation because the Democratic strategists, the focus groupers, and pollsters say the big way to pass this is to make it about checking Trump. But Sam, play it again. I just want you to free. The director's name is Sam, and I love to say play it again, Sam. Play it again. I just want you to freeze when you see the second shot of Trump in silhouette. Go ahead.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal
next shot. Sorry.
Enough seats in Congress.
There. Love that. Look at that. If I were producing that ad, look at that in the edit room. I just think it's so funny. Mark, rate the ad. 0, worst ad you've ever seen. 10, Daisy ad, classic. Rate the ad.
Well, he may have been paid pallets and cash to do this ad, but it's kind of milquetoast. It's like the music is not that threatening. Like,
yeah,
kind of an interesting picture. But
all right, 0 to 10, what do you give it?
5.
5. That's pretty good, given what you said. Michael?
Yeah, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
it didn't speak to me at all.
Okay, I want things to speak to you.
Yeah, I think the script was kind of predictable and boring. And democracy is on the line. How many times have we heard that? People don't really seem to care what he thinks anymore. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Here's the Jack Smith thing. It's from some law school event that took place like 5 days ago or 6 days ago. Not sure why it's surfacing now. Here's Jack Smith.
The people on my special counsel team were like that. The idea that politics played a role in who worked on that case or who got chosen is ludicrous. And Andrew, you know, and this is another thing that I think if you're not inside the U.S. Department of Justice, the idea that politics would play a role in big cases like this, it's absolutely ludicrous, and it's totally contrary to my experience as a prosecutor.
Okay. Not being a pro or anti-Trump, just factual. It's just a lie. I mean, he tried to get the case before the election, and he didn't do that in the normal course of business. He did it for politics. Maybe if I want to be charitable, he didn't think that was political. He thought that was just helping the voters have perfect information. Michael, are you eager to see the whole interview?
I am eager to see the whole interview. I'm judging by who he did the interview with. I'm guessing it was a nice warm bath for him.
Yeah.
He's not going to be challenged very much. But I'm not totally convinced that this guy lacks some kind of lacks integrity or anything like that, or that he was a political animal. I'm not convinced that.
Yeah. I just think on the face of it, if you try to you're constantly trying to get the case before the election in violation of the rights of the defendant, and that person is a front runner to be the next president of the United States. I just don't see how you can say that's not political. What am I missing, Mark?
You're not. It's
Okay.
100% political.
Okay. Thank you for agreeing with me.
And that table and that setup was really weirdly high.
Yeah, it was not the best shot. All right, I because you guys are experts in this, I know we're trying to get to the questions, but I want to do two more things real quick. Here's President Trump today at the White House refusing to take questions from an ABC News reporter because of George Stephanopoulos' shabby treatment of the vice president on Sunday. This is number 16, please.
Your ABC fake news.
Mr. President,
Brian, please.
First of all,
I
congratulations.
don't take questions from ABC fake news after what you did with Stephanopoulos to the Vice President of the United States. I don't take questions from ABC fake news. Brian, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, the three of us could talk about this one for 100 hours. We talked this morning on the morning meeting about whether Democrats who are running for president should or will adopt this kind of anti-media attitude. And here's the point I want you guys to address. Donald Trump's pretty good at going after the media and finding their weak spots, at least with the base. I think Vance is a genius at it. Vance is like Ari Fleischer level of just completely understanding the center-right MAGA critique of the media's liberal bias, incompetence, superficiality. And therefore I say is, if you're running for president as a Democrat, you can do this, but you got to be really expert. You got to really know like where that genuine weak spots are that pushes people back on their heels. Discuss.
There's nobody on the Democratic side who's as good as either Vance or Trump at battling with the media. I would even go as far to say as most of the people that they have in that cabinet are battle tested, are combat ready, are TV trained.
Duffy and Rubio are pretty good, by the way. Michael, just pick up on your first point. What are they good at? I totally agree with you, and it's really well said. But what are Vance and Trump good at?
It's what Pam Bondi did the other day. She didn't sit there and take shit from Senator Blumenthal. She was about to have her integrity questioned by the senator, who had his own history of having to admit to not being truthful about his own record. And I think the fact that this cabinet is willing, so the rules for Democrats and our nominees, Mark, is there's like a secret sauce to it. It's not that genius, but it's 20%. It's the 20% rule. You let them talk 80%. Our nominees should only be talking 20%. It's a test of respect and grace, not a test of what you know. That's what we train our nominees.
Letting the Republican talk 20% or the Republican? I mean, the reporter or the Republican?
Like the Republican. I'm talking about like
really?
in a hearing room.
In a hearing room. Okay.
These guys just fight back. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the Democrats. They defy every rule of communication, whether it's with the media or with the in a hearing or with the press.
Yeah.
But we don't have anybody on the Democratic side who can fight like that with the press.
Why not? But why not? Because they like the press too much, or they don't know how it works. Why not?
Well, they think the press works for us, first of all.
Yeah.
So they're always stumped and confused why they're getting a hard question in the first place. But we treat the media as a hazard, whereas Trump treats the media as an opportunity.
Yeah, well, Mark Bednar, if you were inclined to help a Democrat, they're also, I went through them. None of them really attitudinally are like this. But let's say Westmore said, "I've seen research that says the media is not popular with the Democratic base. So when I get an opportunity like Newt Gingrich or J.D. Vance, I want to go right at the press and say you're serving the corporate interest, whatever it is." Could you train someone to do that, or it doesn't work?
Well, something that Republicans have really adapted to, especially over the past 7-8 years in Trump era, is bringing your receipts. So when you see when a publication writes about a Speaker Pelosi or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris in a certain way, and then the same thing happens to a Republican, and you're able to look up what happens and how they cover it, bring the receipts. So when you're in an interview and there's a confrontation and a bad question, so to speak, you can say, well, guess what? In 2019, you said that Speaker Pelosi or
fill in the blank.
That is a new tool in the toolbox, at least that Republicans are doing a really good job of deploying these days. How to the extent that exists on the Democratic side, I think Michael touched on it. Like probably less so because of the nature of the dominant media, but that's something to keep in mind. Like
Caroline Levitt is brilliant at it, and she brings receipts. What's her name? Who's Joe Biden's press secretary? I'm blanking on her name.
Karine
Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre sometimes went after the press, right? When they would say, Joe Biden just fell off his bike, she would say, "How dare you? And
they get it from a bunker constantly. And the difference is Trump. But Trump will get mad at ABC and Jonathan Karl, but he won't deny them interviews in the future. He plays everywhere. He doesn't. He doesn't alienate audiences.
Trump takes phone calls from totally hostile reporters all the time. It's crazy.
He calls them himself.
Yeah, or they call him and he picks up. All right, another topic the three of us collect by forever. One more thing, and then to your questions in the community. So raise your hand if you want to get in the conversation. The president spoke about Charlie Kirk at great length. There were witty asides and less witty asides, and went off script, went back on script, and then Erica spoke. And again, if you want a good cry, you can watch the whole thing. This is to me the saddest part. She talked about her daughter at the end. She talked about what her daughter said when she asked her, "What would you like to tell Daddy on his birthday?" Today would have been Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday. Here's Erica Kirk at the White House.
And before I close, I'll share with you that I asked our daughter what she would like to say to Daddy for his birthday. Excuse me. She said, "Happy birthday, Daddy. I want to give you a stuffed animal. I want you to eat a cupcake with ice cream, and I want you to go have a birthday surprise. I love you," is what she said. And while our son is precious, he can't yet speak, in classic Kirk family fashion, his actions spoke louder than his words, and his gift to you, Charlie, and myself for that matter, was deciding to become the man of the house and be fully potty trained at 16 months. But Charlie, baby, I know that you're celebrating in heaven today, but gosh, I miss you.
Yeah, it's all like that. If you want a good cry, you can go watch it. All right, a quick word from a sponsor and then questions to the community for our great guests, Mark and Michael. And our other sponsor tonight is another one of my favorites, Fast Growing Trees. Just imagine you want to have a tree inside the house, maybe plant some outside. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com. They'll help you right online, figure out what works for you. Fall's a great time to plant many parts of the country. And now's the time to call them. The help they give you to decide what works in your inside, outside, whatever part of the country you live in, is well beyond what you would normally get at your neighborhood nursery, because they're really focused on specifics and getting you what you need. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com, use the code 2way at checkout, get 15% off. 15% off anything on the website. Perfect time to plant. The offer is only valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com right now and buy yourself a tree or two, or maybe buy Mark Bednar a tree. He could use a tree. And again, when mine showed up, a 7-foot box, and I thought, well, it's not so fast growing that it doesn't fit in the box anymore. But since I took it out of the box, it does grow very fast. Fastgrowingtrees.com. Use the code 2way, 15% off. All right, here we go. Lewis, welcome in. Tell folks who don't know where you are and what's on your mind. 4, finish chewing. Maybe that's what you were doing. Happens to me all the time. What's on your mind for
okay. Hi.
Here you go. Mark and Michael for here's Lewis.
Yes, hi. First off, Mark, thank you very much. I still have not forgiven you for trying to make me excited about the Bob Shrum Olympics in 2004.
It paid off. The guy got the nomination.
Did he win?
Didn't win. Didn't win. No.
Pakistan. Back before the Iran bomb strike, the Pakistan chief of staff of the army was at the White House. You and Dan were talking about it was about the Nobel Peace Prize nomination. But I'm continuing to wonder that they are the dog that's kind of barking, but no one's listening. Are they, I mean, they have 550,000 troops under arms. They are Muslim. They are not Arab. They are not totally Iranian. They've just signed a very tight non-aggression pact with the Saudis. Are, even in a regime change in Iran or as a dry run, are they your peacekeeping force in Gaza?
It's a great question. There's been a lot reported about who might be in it. There's been a lot of vagaries about it. And Secretary Rubio keeps sort of hinting that the president's done a lot to build various pieces, including, I suspect, the peacekeeping force. So I would say there seems to be a premium put on having it be a Muslim country supplying the troops for obvious reasons. Gentlemen, you guys have views of whether Pakistan could be a big supplier of boots on the ground?
Well, first of all, Lewis, when first you said Pakistan, I thought that's what you said. You were introducing yourself that you were calling from. Thank you for elaborating later. I mean, it makes sense to have, like, in the equation, a Muslim nation with a powerful military, but also that has a decent relationship with the West, with the United States. So, we always have kind of a touch and go relationship with Pakistan, but would it make sense that they would be in the mix? I would think so.
Yeah. And the Gulf states have sufficient airlift to move them. You don't necessarily even need U.S. forces. Now, Pakistan will be looking for a check, as they always do.
Really? They wouldn't do it out of the goodness of their heart? I mean, I will say this. It seems like the president has got the very wealthy Arab nations on the line to write checks. So there could be a match there. Michael, any view on this?
Gotta be honest, I don't. I don't. I know that we have a touch and go relationship the way Mark said, so I don't know the latest on where we are with Pakistan or where we were under the Biden administration and where we are now. So I'd have to go back and check to give you an educated guess. I probably could talk to you more about Bob Packwood than Pakistan.
That's a good one.
At the moment.
That's a good one. Lewis,
Well
thank you.
played.
Thank you for that, sir. Grateful to you. Rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. Mark, at the at both the Brewers game and the indoor stadium and at Lambeau Field, they do like fake fireworks. Very extravagant fake fireworks.
Are they fake?
I don't know. I mean,
what's a fake firework?
I don't think they're like the actual things you'd shoot off on 4th of July.
You mean the digital fireworks?
I think they're like digital fireworks. That's what I mean. They're digital. They're virtual fireworks.
Well, just have some more beers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. They do that in Philadelphia too, Mark. At the Phillies,
Yeah.
at the or wherever it is.
What time's the first pitch? Is it 8 o'clock Eastern?
8:08. Yep.
8:08. Okay. I'll be almost done with work by then. Ryan, welcome in. Is that a Fairway and Green shirt you're wearing, Ryan?
No, unfortunately not. This one is a different brand. I won't.
Okay.
I won't.
Don't
out
say
it.
what it is.
Out of respect to Fairway and Green.
I appreciate that. Our other sponsors. Welcome in, Ryan. Thank you for being here. Tell folks where you are. What's on your mind for Michael and Mark?
Out of the Bay Area, California, fellow aquatic athlete, as Michael
Yeah.
expressed earlier.
Water polo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I could tell from the broadness of your necks. Your neck has muscles in it.
Yeah, they would call me a utility player. So
Yeah.
I went inside, played center a bit, but mostly a driver.
Yeah, so let's just stipulate. It was relatively easy for Mark to guess that Michael swam, in part because there's pictures in the background. I just pulled the water polo thing right out of thin air. Could have been diving, could have been anything.
Yeah.
Ryan, floor is yours.
So I three things. One, something going on in the chat, particularly today, is I guess a Politico article about the young Republican leaders and a Telegram group chat. I'm not sure if the group has heard about this, but there were many.
I've heard about it. First of all, you should never read the chat. You just,
I try to stay away. I do.
I saw the headline. I read the top of it. I mean, it just seemed like a bunch of knuckleheads. Mark
Indeed,
Bednar.
but these as potential future leaders of the party, it's pretty astounding to see the comments that are both anti-Semitic as well as generally racist. If they're true.
I'm not condoning it, and I don't know that it's true. But I mean, Mark Bednar. I mean, I don't know. The individuals involved are responsible and culpable, but I don't think like JD Vance is in charge of it, right?
Well, if anything, I think we can all agree that none of them should be eligible to run for Attorney General for Virginia this year.
Good call.
To use language like that should just disqualify you automatically. And
I got that joke, by the way.
Uh-huh.
That flew past
Are they
me.
members? Is it a member chat change?
I guess it was a group Telegram group chat that was leaked to reporters at Politico and maybe some other news organizations, and it had some
who are the actual people? They're a member of a local Republican club.
No, the New York state Republicans. I guess it included some folks out of Vermont, as well as a couple of Kansas.
Are they elected officials? Are they party operators? What are they?
Are they members of Congress? Like
no,
members?
they're not members of Congress.
They're like
one
kids,
person
right?
named was Peter. I'm gonna butcher his last name, Junta or Junta. I'm not sure.
But how are they connected to the Republican Party?
Let me. The way that it's written is leaders of young Republican groups.
Yeah.
So Kansas Young Republicans Vice Chair William Hendricks used the N-word in the chat.
Yeah. Again, I'm not condoning it. And if people in the chat are saying, why aren't we discussing it on the program? We are now, but we can't cover everything, number one. Number two, like, and I would say this if it were about Democrats too, if it's just a bunch of knuckleheads who happen to have an association with the Republican Party, they should be held accountable if they did something improper. But I don't therefore say like, Reince Priebus or who replaced Watley? I can't even remember. What's the name of the guy who's the chairman now? And I can't even remember.
Blanking as well.
Anyway, I just don't think that person's in charge of every Republican in America. But I'll read the article. I've just been busy. But Brian, is your question, why aren't we discussing it?
No, I just wanted to bring that up. I have two other topics that I'll quickly run through and request responses. So one, the John Oliver episode that was just recently about Barry Weiss and the Free Press. I thought he brought up some interesting aspects of.
I read a reference to it. What's his main thesis?
That the Free Press is generally more of an opinion paper / organization, and he went through a couple of examples of where perhaps they did not use the same type of journalistic rigor that would be expected of a CBS News, for example.
Okay. And did he say that they were careless or partisan or?
I would say a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's the characterization that he placed.
Either of you have any point of view about that or about Barry in general going to CBS?
No, I was asked about this today, and I was just I had heard about this John Oliver clip, and but I'm kind of just giving her the benefit of the doubt right now, only because she'll be held to like the standards and legal department of CBS News. I will rein some of that in, but I didn't know I never read the Free Press, so I didn't know she had some ideological persuasion either way. I just thought she was holding people accountable for both sides.
Yeah, Ryan, if the game doesn't go past midnight, I'll try to watch it and come report back to you. Mark, you have a view of this one?
If John Oliver is like the arbiter of what counts as fair and impartial news, then, that says something else.
Yeah.
But also, like this has been kind of litigated before, right? It's with TikTok potentially going to conservative buyers, and Barry Weiss being at CBS, and conservatives being instituted into other forms of news. Like this is what the flip side of that, this is what conservatives have been dealing with for decades.
Right.
So to add new voices and new thought into leadership of news organizations, the fact that is freaking liberals out, that should not be. That should be something that in a new day in 2025 that should be embraced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we should just have a bunch of fair people as opposed to ideologues.
I agree with that, but ultimately, if the bottom line fails, if it's not a winning formula, it won't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, Brian, last one.
Thank you. I just want to make one comment on that. It could give Democrats a reason to start challenging the press more and more, as was referenced earlier today.
Absolutely. They like to attack two-way.
Yeah. The last one. Are we going to execute a coup in Venezuela?
Say again? Are we going to what?
Are we going to execute a coup in Venezuela? Are we going to go after Maduro?
No, we're going to threaten it and foster what's the word? Instability. But no, I don't think so. Ooh, look at that. Ryan, who you got there? Unmute. We need some data. Who's that?
Say your name. Say your name.
Charlie.
This is Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte.
Yes.
She wanted to come say hello to the group.
Charlotte, welcome in. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I do this when I do my ties.
Yes, you're very cute.
Yeah,
and
you are very cute.
Thank you for the time today.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for being here. Grateful to you.
That's
awesome. Oh, I muted a kid. Sue me. All right, let's see. Wallace, let's see if we can sneak in before we got to go because we got some business to do. Unmute, Wallace. Tell us who don't know where you are, what's on Cigna on that fine hat, and what's on your mind.
The insignia on my hat's Rip Curl, Wally Wood from Southern California. Raining right now, so that famous song from the 70s doesn't apply right now.
Yeah.
Any rate, I'll make a quick question. On the topic of California, we were talking about Katie Porter earlier. Obviously, Gavin Newsom is eyeing a presidential run in 2028. I'm kind of curious if any of you think he could possibly be a candidate for a Howard Dean moment, not because he would scream or say something, do a primal scream, but because he has such unusual head motions and hand motions that he seemed to do some odd things. I wonder if that could affect when he ran for president on a national level.
Just like stylistically?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the things he does with his hands and his heads.
Yeah.
It's some of it's kind of bizarre almost to me anyway.
Interesting. Either of you have a view on that?
I kind of think the opposite. I think there's a lot more candidates on the Democratic side that could be way more likely to have a moment like that. He doesn't really raise his voice all that much. Like he seems pretty with it most of the time. Like California has, I think, gone away as a state that way that a lot of voters would not care for. But I don't think that a moment is necessarily in the cards for Gavin.
Michael.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's a talented political athlete, but I don't know if he's going to run, and I don't know if he's going to win if he does run. However, to the stylistic part, I think sometimes motion is actually something that draws attention.
Yeah.
And in a good way. I think Roger Ailes used to say, turn off the sound and watch somebody to see if they are engaging and exciting. And that's how you know that they're like talented communicators. So we did with Jill Biden for her convention speech. We had her walking, which is not usually done, walking and talking as a way to change it up a little bit. But But I'm going to pay attention more to his style.
Yeah, I'm on the record as saying I don't think he's going to run, but I'll say this along the lines of what Mark said. There's almost no one else in the race who's been tested in media environments like Gavin Newsom has. And in fact, between now and the first primary, most of them won't even have an opportunity to do it because you can go on TV shows, but it's not the same. And mostly they don't get tough questions. So I as Mark suggested, I think he's probably the least likely to have some sort of self-destruction based on not knowing how to handle the media. And I'm telling you, these other candidates that have been governors, senators, etc., they think they know how to handle it. They really don't, because they've never faced anything truly tough.
The big time.
Yeah, and Gavin has. So, Wallace, thank you. Gentlemen, you big Curb Your Enthusiasm fans? Yes?
Yeah.
So Cheryl Hines has done an interview with Two Ways Meghan McCain. It airs, this is 23, please. It airs tomorrow, Wednesday, noon Eastern time. Meghan sits down with Cheryl Hines, who's got a new book out. And I hear you asking, Mark, is there a preview clip? Well, yes, there is. Please play number 24.
When Secretary Kennedy told you wanted to run for president the first time, what was your reaction? Because I remember my dad ran twice. My mother was not so thrilled, and it took a long time to coax her into that. Did you have that experience, or were you like, let's do this?
I was not like, let's do this. I was like, you want to run for president of what? You know,
America?
Yeah, I was like, is this a board? Are you joining a board, or is it a? Yeah, when he said America, it's like, oh my gosh. Do I have to give you an answer right now? Say no. You know, we should talk about it and think about it. Then I talk about in my book that even nobody could even know that this was even being considered, because there would be nothing good would happen if people found out that there was even a whisper campaign. So we called it the Cookie Company.
Oh my gosh.
So when we had conversations, be like, what do you think about, how do you think the Cookie Company is coming along? Do you think it's going to launch, or you think it's never going to take off? It's like,
certainly launched.
It launched. So it was definitely a discussion.
All right. Again, that's tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Don't miss it. Coming up right now on Two Way, Michael Moynihan interviews my friend Steve Krakauer about the media coverage of the week's event. Steve is I think he's the best media analyst I know. He's excellent. And the two of them will be together coming up in a moment here on Two Way tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Sean, Dan, and I will be here for the morning meeting. And I can't reveal what it is. But you're going to see, I hope we have it for 9 o'clock tomorrow, a moment of Dan Turntine interacting with the California governor's race in a way that will surprise you. How's that for a tease? So join us then. And Mark and Michael, you guys haven't ever been on together, have you? I don't think you have.
No.
Love having you two on together. It doesn't add a lot of diversity, but it's extremely exciting to have you both here, because you're my kind of guest. You're just super sophisticated, and I can just sit back and learn. So thank you.
You sound like the HR office at the Democratic White House.
Exactly. As Barack Obama used to say, the president's black, so I can hire whoever I want. New episode of Next Up has dropped. My interview with my dad on peacekeeping and his skepticism that the deal will hold necessarily, and what it means for China and Russia. Dan Senor on public opinion on Israel in the United States on the left and the right, how it got so bad and how it could improve. And then my reported monologue, 7 longtime traits of Donald Trump that are hiding in plain sight that allowed him to strike this peace deal, that are poorly understood by many people, including a lot of Democrats. If you want to understand what Donald Trump is good at, that led to the peace deal, please go watch or listen to Next Up, available now on YouTube and as a podcast. Thank you for watching, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Go watch Michael Moynihan and Steve Krakauer.
And then go Brewers.